You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
You don't know about the other side of the pyramid? The fifth side? It's called the floor, you dumbass. I just want to make sure he realizes there is a fifth side to the pyramid.
And once you open your fucking mind of undefeated goddamn fairness.
I know all of them, and I believe none of them, which makes me an expert.
Probably goddamn.
Pour yourself a dip, folks. Welcome to Cryptid Conspiracy Cult. Hell yeah, son. Pull us in that Copenhagen good top. Come on down. Have a drink. Yeah. We were just talking about the Star Wars not long ago. Y'all hear that episode sooner or later. Maybe later.
Probably sooner.
Well, I don't know, man. Your job is to fucking put them out. Nah, guys, we're back with the Cryptid Conspiracy Cult. That's right, we've been on a long hiatus over there. We're still working on History We Forgot, the couch potatoes, those fucking guys with this fucking guy, and a whole bunch of other stuff coming at you coming soon. But no, we're back with a new episode, and we're going to cover somebody, we're going back to Cold Angle again.
Yep, because we just wrapped up a previous episode talking about one crazy church cult.
Dude, the eyes on that motherfucker. The eyes of Marshall Applewhite, man.
I was honestly...
I'm going to stare through your body, stare through your skeleton, stare through your soul.
I was honestly torn when making the artwork for that, if using like one of those batshit crazy like mid-90s computer graphic images or those crazy eyes.
You have to put the description in the description. You got to put a link to the website, the Heaven's Gate website.
Oh God, yes.
Check this shit out. And it's just like
GeoCities at its best.
Yeah, it's fucking their little knockoff Green Bay Packers logo. Yeah, fucking hilarious. But no, check that episode out, guys, when it comes out. And check out all the shows on the Something Good Network. We got all kinds of stuff. We've got merch now.
That's right.
Yeah, we got merch. We got t-shirts. We got hoodies. I bought a hoodie. Mm-hmm. It turned out quality, pretty good.
All right.
It's warm.
Pretty good for that little Chinese kid making them in the factory.
Oh man. Teaching them so Mexico.
That's right.
But no, guys, we got stickers, pins. We got all kinds of stuff coming for you.
That's right.
But let us know in the Discord if there's certain items you might want. Maybe we'll put that on the merch store too. Mm-hmm. We'll get around to it eventually.
And each show has their own exclusive item for sale.
Right. That's right.
Because History Forgot has a nice little red notebook to write down all the history you may forget in it. Yeah. And the Cryptid Conspiracy Cult has a puzzle.
Oh yeah, put the pieces together and find the solution, brother. Find the truth.
And I tell you, if the puzzle's a big enough hit, we'll make new puzzles. Ooh. Because right now it's just the graphic, it's just the artwork, just the Cryptid Conspiracy Cult. Yeah. However, I may or may not have already been talking to one David Hammer and have kind of pitched an idea of a collage type photo of a bunch of nefarious characters, whether they be creatures or cult leaders and XYZ.
Hell yeah.
You know, maybe kind of like blacklight poster style.
Oh shit!
I think that might look pretty cool as a puzzle as well.
Yeah, let that 13-year-old out, man. Let him get that blacklight poster, brother.
Well, I was thinking at least in the style of that, like the black background with like the neon colored creatures type deal.
Oh yeah. And plus, we have people reaching out to us that want to be on the show, so. Get in the Discord, let me know. Send Alex an email. Email's in the description, as always. Right. Reach out to us. Tell us something you want us to talk about. If you want to talk about it, tell me a story. I love hearing a story here and there.
Absolutely.
Keeps me from reading books.
We're more than happy to have you swing on in the Something Good Studios. But if you are
We're this close to doing it in a garage.
But at the same time, if you are way outside of our, networking area, we figure out a Zoom call, especially with our first guest. I really want to get him
I gotta say, Zoom, if that's not your favorite, Teams is getting better by the day.
We can Teams you. But folks, talking about making stickers, there's a fucking sticker.
I'll Teams you. Just a guy in a Skype polo. Just let me Teams you real quick. But no, guys, we got a brand new one with you. We're going to be talking a little bit about L. Ron Hubbard and the Church of Scientology.
Woo, hot diggity dog. It is a good thing that we work under some sort of anonymity under this show because, these people are a little litigious and creepy.
Well, here's the thing about the Church of Scientology I always find fascinating. It is the newest one. You know what I'm saying? Like, at one point, it was super big, and when I start talking about, like, cults or just religion in general, because this is what it is. The Church of Scientology, under the government purview, is a church. But all intents and purposes, it's a psychological method of dealing with your issues. So that's what it really is. It's a replacement for psychology. The way they deem themselves.
Scientology.
Well, that's why they have that name, Scientology, because it sounds reasonable. If I had a cult, it'd be called the Reasonableists. So, like, well, I can't go against the Reasonableists.
They're reasonable.
They're very reasonable. That's why I burnt my house down. It seemed reasonable at the time, but it's the nomenclature. They create their own language. There's a lot of anagrams that they use, like SBTs or suppressive people. You know, they have the perfect way of how to build a cult. They have the 21st century guide to doing it, and it's all because of a man named L. Ron Hubbard.
The man, the myth, the legend.
L. Ron Hubbard. There's a couple things about L. Ron Hubbard. He's the most published author of all time, because he wrote so many books. And he just kept having them published and published. His sci-fi writing is okay. I grew up reading some of his sci-fi books, along with like Isaac Asimov, Robert Heinlein, all those guys. Because I grew up as a Heinlein fan. You know, he wrote Starship Troopers, Stranger in Strangeland, and it's a lot of like these commentaries on society of the time. And a lot of his books had like a post-apocalyptic feel to them. But in all intents and purposes, it is sci-fi. Okay, and he's a writer of his time, so there's going to be stuff like there's going to be like vague racism, there's going to be misogyny, and the context of the story builds on those, and that's his books. That's my critique of his books. But there are a handful of books I've heard of that are, I'm not saying this in an offensive way, super gay.
Just factual.
Just super fucking gay. He has a book called Buckskin Brigades, and it is one of the gayest sci-fi books people have described, just from the critiques of them online. I haven't read it, so I can't really be definitive on it, but it just sounds gay as shit.
And this isn't gay, it's homosexual.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he hated homosexuals.
So there was a lot wrong in the book.
Yeah. So it's a hypocrite writing a book. But no, L. Ron Hubbard is kind of a fascinating character. You know, a lot of his stuff is some pseudoscience here and there. A lot of it's observations, and
what's the deal with the gods of today?
Yeah, but a lot of it is how a church works. He kind of understood as, okay, that can be used on a psychological scale to manipulate, to harm, and so on. So that's the kind of crux of L. Ron Hubbard. There was a joke, really. It was a rumor that Robert Heinlein and L. Ron Hubbard had a bet that said he couldn't make his own religion. And that was how. I bet. And that's how it happened, you know. And that's the rumor of how it happened. Robert Heinlein most likely said, "This fat, portly piece of shit needs to get out of my goddamn face." I'm L. Ron Hubbard. Do you like tomatoes and boats?
Let's read your Geiger meter. Or whatever the fuck meter.
Yeah, E-meter.
E-meter, yeah.
Yeah. So, going into the Church of Scientology, we know it today as the Church of Celebrities. There's a shit ton of celebrities in the church. The most famous one is Tom Cruise, who makes fantastic movies, by the way. I'm not just dissing Tom Cruise. He makes fantastic movies. He was a big kind of help during COVID for a lot of studios. You know, he had that rant where he's going off.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But like, he had that rant where he's going off on a production guy who's not following that shit. He's like, look, we're trying to keep everybody on the up and up on this. Fucking go buy it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but like, go by the list. All right, don't fuck it up. Everyone's at risk to being doing this. So fucking shut the fuck up and do what you're told. And there was an audio clip of that, and it was fantastic because it was the first guy really I heard. It was like, hey guys, we're all fucking tired of it. just fucking stay in line long enough till we can get through this.
Yep.
And keep people working, you know. But he is nuts.
I'm in love.
Oh yeah. He got to have a little mental breakdown for, I think, a little bit. But you know,
Well, what better place to do it than Oprah?
yeah, the other crazy person on television. Oprah,
Yeah, like there's only two.
no, Oprah was the best one, I think, because I remember we had to watch her stuff in like school.
Yeah.
We had to watch a lot of her interviews because she was like the professional interviewer, and she had like this degree in psychology, which was probably bullshit. But going back to L. Ron Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard started all this with a book called Dianetics. Dianetics is I've never read Dianetics because I'm not going to fall through that hole. But
You value your sanity a bit too much.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like Henry Zabowski from fucking last podcast and preach the good things of Scientology by accident because I took a 12-week deep dive in the shit.
But you know, they have a lot of really good family values.
Probably. But a big part of it is Dianetics, is this idea where they're describing why you're like the way you are. That's a big part of it. But the book is also super fucking confusing. And that's why you need to pay money for them to explain the book to you. And it's a grift, and it's a great one. Like, I respect the grift. Because churches, I mean, you had an episode about the seed community and the seed faith, where it's just like, God can only love you if you give money to the church. And that's what happened to the Catholic Church a long time ago, was there was this big turn in the Catholic Church where it wasn't about salvation and it wasn't about Jesus, where it became about money. And thus, you know, Catholicism became a more ritualistic and more predatory religion. And that's where we get the kind of situation they've been in now in the last 30, 40 years of this shit coming out about that church. But it didn't happen overnight. Okay, it happened through generations and generations of, you know, power. Same thing with the Church of Scientology. In all intents and purposes, it's the newest one that's stuck around. Most cults, and they hate that term. They fucking hate that term. Die on the vine. Last few we've talked about Jim Jones, Marshall Applewhite. Eventually we'll talk about the Ant Hill kids. But those are the ones, those shot in the dark cults that do just heinous shit and disappear. Mm-hmm. There's no remnants of them left really anymore. There is a People's Temple still around, but it's not like the Jim Jones People's Temple. It's more of a charity. But there is no fucking, like, there's no Ant Hills kids left. There's no Shunrikyo left. But Scientology has played the game. That's how I'll put it that way. Has played the game so well that they've been able to stay in the zeitgeist in the world itself, and actually done actual changes, whether it's good or bad as opinion, but they've made major changes in how we move along as a society. A kind of a great thing about this is how far can a guy go just on will alone? And that's kind of the story of L. Ron Hubbard, because he's grifting all the time from the beginning to the end. But going back to some of those celebrities, one of those was Masterson.
Danny
Masterson from that 70s show. Popular Scientologist. Michael Pena, Scientologist.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. And this is not saying that those people are bad people or they're dumb.
And Isaac Hayes.
Yeah. Poor Isaac Hayes. Rest in peace. He's probably in heaven. Get it? But like, how far does this extend out to where? All right, so I'm part of a cult. In all intents and purposes, when I'm describing a cult, and let's say, Alex, you're part of my cult. My job is to deride you, treat you down, and build you back up. Okay, that is the object of a cult. Hey, Alex, you're terrible at this. You're bad at this, but I have faith that you can be better, and if you listen to me long enough, I can get you there. I actually have a stepped program to get you where you need to be.
It's only a 3-step program?
fucking 3 steps, and when you get that 3rd step, there's a 4th step. But let me tell you about the 4th step. It's almost as good as the 5th and 6th step.
So the 4th is just kind of like the hidden last step.
Almost. It's almost more closer to the 12th step. When we get to the 12th step, that's when you'll really know.
But how many times do I have to pay you?
Every step.
Oh. Yeah. And that's how they get you.
Damn it. But like churches do the same thing, except churches is the long game. You know, instead of having one person pay me $30,000 and their house, I have people give me $20 every Sunday. And if I keep more people coming in, they keep giving me $20.
And if we get the wealthy people in, then we get to talk about percentages of their income, and now we're really raking in the money.
Yeah, then it's called tithing. I've actually been reading a lot of stories lately about churches kicking people out for not tithing.
I have a story about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was I think I may have mentioned this on the church episode, but of course, not going to name any names, what have you, but there was a church that we were at in...
Preacher Jim tried to extort me, pulled a fucking knife on me in front of my Chevelle, and said, give me my goddamn $10. God wants you to give it to me, or Satan's going to make me stab you.
We were at a church in Roanoke, Virginia, and...
Jim the pastor
was a great youth pastor, and...
he listened to AC/DC every now and then.
Every so often, but, you know, AC/DC was godly. You know, it was all good.
They had the Hell's Bells and whatnot. But
God didn't get mad over a little rock and roll every now and again. But in all seriousness, this guy was really cool, and he did a lot for the church. And we heard rumblings of him having problems, but didn't really, you know, dig into it. None of our business. And all of a sudden, one day we show up on a Sunday afternoon and he's not there. Oh, is he sick? No. This person is no longer part of the church.
Excommunicated.
Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, interesting. Well, we still had him on our Facebook. Get home that afternoon. Hey, buddy. Didn't see you at church. What happened? We'll talk over a glass of wine. Okay.
He stole a bottle of communion wine and got shit-faced.
What it came down to was he and his family hit hardships financially, and he was unable to tithe.
Yeah.
A member of the church that is on salary was unable to pay tithe. And that was their thing they hung over his head. They were like, well, we know how much you get paid. You can afford that percentage back to the church. He's like, no, my tithing to the church is the work I'm doing. Well, that's what you're being paid for. And they bounced it back and forth on him so hard and kind of boxed him into that corner of, if you're not tithing that extra percentage, you're not a man of God and you don't represent the church properly.
Yeah, and that's the grift. That's exactly how you do it. And it's all tax free.
Yep.
And so going into this, when he creates Scientology, the concept of Scientology, of you give me money and I'll tell you how Dianetics works, it is truly fascinating, because it's no different than how most people perceive the Bible and go to church to understand the Bible better. If you have basic 12th grade reading skills, you can understand the Bible. Now, if you want extra help in understanding context, then yeah, you could go to church. You can talk to a preacher who tries to explain, well, the context of this situation is, why does Daniel do this? Why does the book of Jude say this? There is a benefit to going to a church to learn more, either to better yourself or just the knowledge itself. I'm not going to shit on somebody who goes to church and, just there. I am going to shit on somebody who's being grifted and can't see it. Okay. We were like that. We went to a church, and my dad told me one time, he's like, well, we paid this much and this much because my mom worked and my dad worked, so they paid percentage per person. And that's how much. I'm like, God damn, y'all weren't really getting the show, were you? My dad's like, yeah, it's not really. Like, I've spent money at the Milestone that's worth more money than going to a church.
Well, I mean, that's a rock and roll church right there.
Yeah, but Babe Haven was playing. If anybody's ever heard of those women their daddy must have really hated them. God damn.
Someone got stood up at the prom.
Yeah, something happened worse than that. Someone went full Carrie White at the goddamn prom for them. But I digress. But no, like, to me, going to a church should be a free activity. Mm-hmm. yes, if I want to donate money, I could. And if I'm getting meaning out of it, then I will. They deserve the money. No different than if I buy a shirt from a band. I came to see y'all. I came to see my buddy's band. Y'all were playing. I enjoyed the music. Sell me a fucking shirt, bro. Sell me some stickers. Sell me a CD. And I always do that when I go to a show.
And he does.
And whether or not I really, really enjoy it, I understand that they're bringing enjoyment to others. But I don't have, it's not like the milestones like, you're going to pay this, you're going to buy a fucking t-shirt, you're going to buy a drink.
And there's a gratuity on there, and it has to go to XYZ.
Yeah, you get a water, $1 goes to the water, $1 goes to the bar. Put $1 in the bottle. You know what I'm saying? But with Scientology, it's very well structured to where they could bully you into giving more and more. And it's not about a percentage. They're not targeting the percentage. They want all of it damn near immediately. They're like, you have problems and you need help. And their selective targeting is fucking perfect. No one quite does it as well as Scientology. See, because Scientology targets the people who aren't religious. Scientology will go after the person who's had a bad time at church. Scientology goes after people who've grown up in hardcore religious communities who are boxed out. Okay. You know, we live in the South, and I've been to all kinds of churches, you know, mainly Baptist churches because they're Catholics of the South. But there is this idea that if you're not part of this group, then we're going to get boxed the fuck out of everything else.
Yep.
And in Hollywood, they were knee deep in it. A great example is John Travolta. Mm-hmm. John Travolta, being part of Scientology, helped his career perfectly. And what a fucking face to the name. Hey, there's this guy, John Travolta. He's on a successful sitcom. He just got hired to be in a movie, Saturday Night Fever. It's fantastic. He's likable. He's fun. He's the face of this religion for this moment until someone else comes along and we'll get him to be the face. Tom Cruise. Yeah. But with that, they are targeting people who are trying to up and come in the entertainment industry. And that is a lot of goddamn people.
And that's a lot of people that are just willing to say, just to get going.
Yeah. So we can only imagine how many burgeoning actors and actresses joined Scientology just to get a leg up in the Hollywood industry. Now, Hollywood being the corruptible industry that it is, I'm not going to go too far into that.
That's a separate episode.
Because a lot of that is just conspiracy and rumor. But there are bad people in the game. Harvey Weinstein, perfect example. Bad guy in the game. And
book him.
Yeah,
for the Mad Monster Party.
Yeah, he'll come. Yeah, he'll show the fuck up. Ooh, shooter. But him and Kevin Spacey.
Dan Snyder off in the corner. Where's the feet?
Yeah. I love me some feet. But anyway,
Tarantino pops up from the corner. Who said feet?
Yeah. I would say if that's the worst thing about Tarantino, good on him, because that motherfucker could be so much fucking worse and no one would know.
Oh yeah. I pray that the worst problem he has is some fucked up foot fetish.
Foot fetish, yeah. Like he probably found it if he found it. Found it by QT. But with Scientology, the grift is damn near perfect. Because I need you to give me everything you have so I can build you into something I need you to be. And as of today, Scientology is not like it was when I was in high school, 2008. But I do remember 2 years ago, they spent money on an ad on the Super Bowl. And it was fascinating to see that because they had the weird little symbol up. I don't know if you've ever seen the symbol. It'd probably be on the page. What a weird little symbol.
Yes. Very weird.
But it's a symbol nonetheless. And I talked to this guy at work a lot about, symbolism and cult status. And when you see a symbol and it has a meaning attached to it, it's going to stick with you. The greatest example is the swastika. The swastika, we know what that is. It used to mean something else, but no one will ever reference that.
No.
In Hindu culture, it's something totally different. But it got co-opted, and now we see a swastika, we know 3 things. Asshole, asshole, asshole. So,
in 3 varying degrees of tone.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Oh, asshole.
Asshole. And
Ton. But like it's like no different than like seeing the Kiss logo and the Misfits logo. I can look at that and understand, okay, that's a different type of rock and roll. I know what those guys, those mass fellas are about. I've heard their music before. I know them. Okay. Yeah. But if somebody co-ops that image of like the face from Misfits into something else, there's a problem. Okay. It doesn't quite match the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Okay. But that no different than symbols. Symbols are the same thing. The Star of David, we understand that as the Jewish star representative of the Judaism. The cross is the cross. The crescent moon and the star, Islam. We know this. And they created their own symbol. It looks dumb as shit. It looks like a bunch of jumbled shit put together.
And another interesting co-op is the upside down cross. The upside down cross, if I'm correct, in original biblical sense, just meant deceased.
The upside down cross is the cross of St. Peter.
Yeah. Because he was nailed upside down.
Yeah. None of the apostles had a good time.
No,
that's a whole different story.
But yeah, so it's interesting how that has now been co-opted by the 12-year-old satanic groups.
Yeah, but like the same as like the pentagrams and stuff like that. Just all these different symbols get co-opted in. And that'd be a good episode by itself. Just stupid fucking symbols in religion. But
the Iron Cross.
The Iron Cross. That is an award you got for shooting down the enemy. If you were a German pilot. And then it's like, no, that's a Nazi. No, the fuck it's not.
Well, what was the enemy of the Germans?
The Americans.
So
like, when you win a war, you can decide what the fucking symbol means. All right, I'm just saying. All right, like the spider. We see a spider logo. I could think either Spider-Man or the Spidered Man. The fun-loving Peter Parker or the man who rips people asunder in PlayStation 4. But they had kind of hit all the bases with Dianetics. The Dianetics makes you think you have a problem with yourself, and everyone has problems. Everyone does. But it kind of charges it up. Scientology kind of charges it up a little bit where it needs to be fixed. And they're a big proponent against psychology. They're a big proponent against psychotherapy. A big one is Tom Cruise's rant about, I think, Cindy Crawford and her having to take medication for mental illness.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Matt Lauer is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? And he's basically having a fucking manic state.
She shouldn't be taking it.
And all that motherfucker needed to do was hit a joint and just calm down. That's all he needed to do.
Jump out of a plane, motherfucker. Calm down.
Another one.
And another one.
And dirt bike launch off a fucking mountain with a parachute. That's Matt. Hey, I gotta say, man, if Scientology gives him the courage to do that kind of shit, good on him. If that's his fucking guiding light, good on him.
I guess that's the spinach.
Yeah, take that, Popeye, you bitch. I'm giving it to olive oil over here. Yeah. But
the whole Scientology thing has always been very elusive to me because ever since I was like consciously aware of different cults, organizations, religious groups, I had always heard of Scientology, and I didn't really realize that in retrospect how important that episode of South Park was.
Yeah, so with South Park,
because that's where I really actually learned a lot about it, but I thought it was from my own ignorance. And what I'm sure you'll expand on in a bit, which is, Matt and Trey have later on came out and been like, yeah, we were like the first show to like really shine a light and tell you truly what goes on in this organization.
Yeah, they're the second show. The first show was an interview with David Miscavige, where David Miscavige has almost a mental breakdown talking about his religion. And he's being talked to by, I'm trying to remember the interviewer's name, but he fucking rings this dude alive. And David Miscavige cannot keep up. He is panicking. He is sweating. He is very short. So he has a height issue, because I'm a height supremacist. They're not real people. He was a grown man who's like 5 foot tall. He's not good. He's not people.
So you do not. I do not
acknowledge.
You do not acknowledge the short kings.
No. If you want to find you a muscle mommy or whatever the fuck, good for you. That's fine. But to me, you're nothing.
Go off, Chris. Go off.
Fuck them. This is what Betty Crocker's paying for. No, I joke, but like sometimes when I see a smaller guy, I'm just like, God damn, dude. Jesus. And I'm saying this from like a genetic supremacy of being 6'2".
Yeah.
But I'm actually shorter than I'm supposed to be. I found that out. Yeah, because I have kidney disease, so it keeps me shorter than I'm actually.
You're supposed to even be taller than. God damn it.
Yeah, I'm probably supposed to be like 6'4" or something, 6'5" or some shit.
God damn it.
But because I have kidney disease, my body has made me shorter than I'm supposed to.
God nerfed you.
Yeah, he'll get his.
God damn it.
Yeah. Give me a gold can of Copenhagen. I'll be up there in a minute, boy. Pop a top. Yeah. Oh man, I've been talking to a guy at work about that, just joking and shit. He's like, "Oh yeah, pull you some gold top, brother. Pull yourself a dip." Goddamn animal. But that's some redneck shit down here for you.
Oh yeah.
But with Scientology and South Park, it kind of goes back a little bit further. Is what did Scientology in was the internet. That did in a lot of cults, and the newer cults we see today have kind of perfected it to where they use it as a tool instead of like this spotlight that can put us down. Because Nexium used the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Twin Flames is an internet-based one. These are all newer cults that are popping up. And there's also not even cults, but mentalities developed from the internet, from toxic fucking people. And I don't like using that word toxic, but it is very imperative that that's what that means.
Yeah.
Of these toxic people on the internet creating lifestyles that are not cohesive with society, that do not work out and will ruin your fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your influencers do this. You get a lot of trends and stuff like that. And it can be
Get your cred.
Yeah, get your cred, get that prime energy drink in your fucking bloodstream right fucking now, and it's like,
And if you don't, you're an asshole.
yeah, you're a pussy. Yeah, and it's like, God damn it.
Give me the prime.
But Scientology ended up being exposed by the internet in 2004, 2005. And people were like, no, this is the Church of Scientology probably isn't like this.
South Park's pulling another goof.
But another thing that South Park does, or even not South Park, but Scientology does, is black those people out. All right, we need our people to be boxed out of social media. We need them boxed out of the real world. And this will come up later on with L. Ron Hubbard and his fucking boat and the Sea Og and stuff like that. Those are your upper echelon Scientology guys. Much kind of like certain churches have your upper echelon members, but those members are still part of society. Scientology members aren't really big part of society. They have actors who are names and faces, but actors and actresses aren't really part of society. They're walled off. They have a very select view of the world. They're lonesome. Mm-hmm. They become lonesome very quickly. That's why I have a lot of horror stories about actors and actresses who can't function because they've been out of the real world so long. This actually happens to presidents a lot more than you think. Richard Nixon didn't know what a scanner was at a grocery store because he had never been to a grocery store.
Wow.
Yeah. So like he's so boxed in from that realm of life, he didn't know. So that's kind of how they treat their members. If I get somebody hook, line, and sinker, I got them for life.
Yep.
And if I'm building a church, that's how I'm going to do it.
And I mean, and they are not letting up today. One of the reasons why I brought this up as a potential episode is on my YouTube shorts, there have been these group of like maybe 5 or 6 people, and they're called the Scientology Audit.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is they'll hang out near their headquarters.
In Clearwater, Florida.
Yes. I thought it was somewhere in California.
They have a place they have... The Church of Scientology is in California. The headquarters is in Clearwater, Florida.
I think
it's a giant blue building.
Okay, not the Florida one then, not the giant blue building. This one is kind of like on a strip, and it could almost be confused for like a Prada or Gucci store.
Yeah.
So people are hanging out on the
I
outside
think it's
of
called
that.
the Learning Center or something like it.
Yes. Thank you. That's where a lot of the recruitment happens, is at the Learning Center.
Yeah, because you'll see an actor or actresses in there. Leah Remini would talk about this a lot. She'd be like, I'd have to go work at the Learning Center.
Yeah.
Or the intake center.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the main hub of them pulling people in. And basically what they'll do is these people on social media, as soon as they see one of the Scientology people with a new recruit, will just start shouting facts and being like, this is a cult, this is a scam, they've told you this, they've told you this. When they go inside, they're going to tell you this. Turn around now. Once you go inside, you will not be able to leave. You are going to be held against your will. You will be, again, all this stuff. And 9 times out of 10, people are just kind of like, oh shit, like that, because they're recruiting them, not saying it's Scientology, because as soon as the guy goes, this is Scientology, you see people kind of like looking around and like see the thing, and they're like, no, like they kind of look at the wall and be like, oh crap, no, I was about to enter this building. Oh wait, no, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, so
and the creepiest, the part that literally like gave me goosebumps when I saw it, around Christmas time, right next to the Learning Center was kind of like an empty parking lot. They transformed that entire parking lot and branded it the L. Ron Hubbard Christmas Wonderland.
yeah.
Using children to draw in the parents, to get them stuck in a conversation that they can't get out of, to get recruitments.
It's like a timeshare.
That is, but it's scary because it's not a timeshare. This is Scientology.
Yeah, but it works the same way.
It works the exact same way. But no, I saw that and it literally sent chills down my spine. I was like, that is evil shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Anything directed to the kids like that, that's when I start going, that's evil shit.
Yeah. There were other programs that are similar like this down south that are part of like certain churches.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the Women Health Facility, which is or Planned Parenthood, something like that. You go in there for contraception. You go in there if you need, an abortion. You need there if, for checkups. You need there for anything pregnancy related. Can be done at Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
There's another version of Planned Parenthood that is sponsored secretly by Christian organizations. And some of those things can be very nefarious. Some of them, they'll get women to do ultrasounds and like, this is your baby. And it'd be an ultrasound of a baby that's probably like 6 months. And this woman's probably on like 3 weeks. So like, oh, it's got a heartbeat. It's got this. It's breathing, And they coerce these women into having these children against their will, in a way.
I find funny you brought that up because you just unlocked a core memory. So I was doing a lot of like pro-life, pro-choice research and stuff, early on when that was a big topic during like the Obama administration.
Yeah.
And I remember running across a list of church approved women's health organizations.
Yeah, they start with pamphlets and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was also implied you could get it done here, wink, wink. I just never knew that extra connecting piece about the guilt tripping, essentially, once they get there. That makes so much more sense now.
And then they'll create another one is halfway houses for pregnant women, where they basically give their baby up.
Yep.
But they ignore a lot of the other underlying factors of those kind of things. The majority of people, and this is statistical, you can look this up, the majority of people who get abortions, women who get abortions, in the later days are high-risk pregnancies or pregnancies that will not, I'm trying to think of the word, that will not be fulfilled. Okay, ectopic pregnancy is one. I'm not going into the science of it, but they're non-viable pregnancies. That's the word for it. And so an abortion is necessary. And churches like the Church of Scientology is against that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Churches down here are against that kind of thing. Because they think a miracle is going to fucking happen. It's going to fucking work out. It doesn't.
You could abort the next Einstein.
No, this thing is dead. This is what Texas is even a problem with, because women of Texas are going to have to flee Texas because of their laws. I digress. I'm not getting in this fucking argument. But Scientology takes the conservative part of religion and applies it to themselves. That's why they're very anti-homosexual. A good story.
Why do they have Tom Cruise then?
Oh, so here's the thing. I don't think Tom Cruise is gay. John Travolta is gay and was forced into the closet by Scientology. That's the horrific thing they've done to people. He's only an example. I can't have the face of the fucking 70s being a gay dude, but I can have him in the closet, and that's why a lot of not accusations of like SA, but accusations of he had sex with a man came out because he's fucking gay.
So what?
But back in the 70s, it was what? And not so much for so what, you know? So,
yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And they do this in a way, the amount of pressure is like the amount of pressure you heard you would get in Dare about some guy offering you heroin. Like,
you want some of this dick?
Yeah. But like, we can fix you. They probably preached to him that him having feelings for men was an issue.
Pray the gay away. Yeah,
and they boxed him the fuck out and made him part of the church, and he got married, had children. And I love the fact, he can't be gay. He has a wife and a kid. I'm like, motherfucker, have you seen how many wife and kids are out there?
Yeah, Michael Jackson had a wife and kid.
Yeah. Well, he's more of a pedophile, not gay. Those are two different things. Two different monsters. One's fashionable, one's just likes kids. Michael was both.
I'm just letting all this ride.
Fuck it, why not?
The thoughts and opinions of Cryptid Conspiracy Cult.
Hey, you got this fucking guy, and you got those fucking guys.
Yeah.
All right, I can go toe-to-toe with those fucking guys in a more cohesive state.
Y'all can hop on the Something Good For You podcast if you want to.
But with Scientology, where L. Ron Hubbard, going back to L. Ron Hubbard real quick, he creates this basically a therapeutic way of people dealing with their problems. And it works and it doesn't work because you have to have Dianetics, you have to have read it, and you have to pay him to teach you Dianetics. And going back to South Park real quick, the problem with South Park was they showed the end game. You weren't supposed to see the end game until you got there. And it was alien bullshit. It was aliens, Xenu, all this stuff. And I love the caption at the bottom where he's describing Scientology to Stan. And he's describing the DC-8 planes, the golden planes, the spirits of aliens being put in volcanoes, Xenu, to harvest it and stuff like that.
It was all like, Scientologists truly believe this.
Yeah. The caption at the bottom was, "This is truly the end game of Scientology," at the bottom. And it's perfect. It's fantastic because they do the same thing to Mormons when they're describing the story of Joseph Smith.
Dum 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 dum.
It's so harmonic. And the book
you can't say Joseph Smith without
the dum 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 dum. Even when we do our 12-hour 14-episode podcast about the Mormons, when I'm just dragging
every time it's gonna be dum 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 dum.
Say it. Fucking say it.
Say the line.
Hey, Mikey said he'd join just to get some insider information. And,
is he going to spill the beans?
Yeah, and I told at Courtney, I'm like, you cool with him having a sister wife? And she just looked at him. I'm like, you can punch him in front of me. I don't care. Whoop his ass. Now we can just see him beating the dog shit because she does that CrossFit cult.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get her to be on this show so I can interview for her the cult she's in, CrossFit. She refuses to acknowledge that it's a cult.
I think running is a cult too. What are they running from?
That's not a cult. That's just disgusting. Running's invented for you to escape, not to just casually do it. You're ruining
for fun.
For fun. Gross.
Ew.
Disgusting.
Healthy people.
Deplorable. Deplorable. I remember I told Brad's wife that one time. It was just like, "Oh, you go out for a run? That's disgusting." And she kind of just looked at me like, "What the fuck did you say?" I was like, "It's fucking disgusting. It's gross." Well, I'm just like making a fucking like roulade out of pork. It's like,
you're fucking gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. While I'm stripping the backbone out of a chicken. It's like, that's fucking disgusting.
Holding the heart of a pig.
Look, it had life.
You're gross.
Yeah. And they kind of exposed it though, on the mainstream part of it. They described that Xenu murdered a bunch of aliens, put their souls in volcanoes, and those souls came into me and you as ancestors and have stayed with us, and they manifest themselves as thetans or thetans, which are these stupid. It's like metachlorians in Star Wars. We just talked about Star Wars recently because that's all I'm thinking about right now. But
it all connects so well.
It all connects so well because it's science fiction. God damn it! All right, but that's the end all belief. And on a financial level, like on a financial institution, I kind of respect it because that's a grift. No different than like a Ponzi scheme. The problem I have with it is the idea that it's a fucking religion.
Yeah. So before we move away from that too far, so the part I just learned was I was unaware that the Xenu portion of stuff was not something readily available to lower members of Scientology before that episode.
No, you have to pay the money to be told the story.
Right. Let's say you paid the money and was told the story. There are multiple levels of which you have to pay before you get to the alien information. Would a Tom Cruise would have already had that information?
No. It's about, so Leah Remini is a perfect example. Her family was part of Scientology, so she's what's called a generational Scientologist. If you're in the game, I'm just going to refer to it as the game. If you're in that game and your mom's part of it, your grandmother's part of it, whatever, and you're raised in it, and children are raised in Scientology, when you get to that part, she even talks about, they're like, hey, we want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. You're going to ascend in the church. And she tells this during like podcasts and stories. She's like, oh, is this the part where I learned about the aliens? She jokingly said that. And they're like, this is fucking serious. That's what they told her. Her mom said, this is fucking serious. And then they tell her the story of Xenu. And then she realized, oh my God, what the fuck am I a part of?
So that's what my question was. So it's like, there's two parts to it. I'll start with the funny. I can just imagine a day or two after that South Park episode airs. Church of Scientology. Yeah, Tom Cruise here. What the fuck? and him having to now grip with the belief that this is actually real. But the second part of it is, if a Tom Cruise, I use that as like we the people, if a Tom Cruise may have not been aware of that part of the, we'll call it lore, how did they get it?
How did who get it? Tom Cruise?
No, South Park, Matt and Trey.
The internet. So people at the higher level of Scientology left Scientology, and they made it to the end. They were members. They are like parishioners, bishops, basically, that left because of somebody like David Miscavige. All right, so there is a hierarchy to Scientology during the time of L. Ron Hubbard. It's a close group of adults.
In a gross group.
Yeah, but it's a close group of adults with L. Ron Hubbard who are learning how to teach Dianetics, with the caveat of knowing about Xenu and the aliens. Now, David Miscavige comes along. He's young. He's part of the Sea Org, which is an elite group of Scientologists who sign billion-year contracts. I'm not joking. Billion-year contracts that aren't feasible, and work on this like ship, this boat. And he had a defunct boat that tried to make it to Europe. It made it to Europe. They're telling like, hey, you guys need to get the fuck out of here, or we'll destroy your goddamn boat. And it was basically ran by children. But he was one of those kids.
Yeah.
And so he boxed those adults out because he became the voice of Scientology through kind of the same as like any movie you watch when it's like some guy becomes the leader just by accident.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, basically. And he ends up running Scientology after L. Ron's death. But by that time, the internet's already been out or coming out. And then it's like, oh, I'm Googling recipes, blah, blah, blah. And then you see a commercial for Scientology on TV, which was prevalent. Or you see a late night. That's where they really got people, with late night ads. You get late night ads about the Book of Dianetics, all this. And so if you have the internet at the time, you're going to click. What the fuck is this? And under that headline is the Church of Scientology website, blah, blah, blah. And under that is probably another fucking result, the dangers of this fucking Church of Scientology. So yeah, that's how that information got out there, and that's how Trey and Matt got it. It was from real people who made it to the end, and some of them were like, "This is bad shit. Excuse me while I moonwalk out of here." And the fucked up thing is, they use the same tactic most cults use, and even Catholicism uses: excommunication. If you, let's say you're part of the Reasonableists with Chris, and at the end of it you made it, hey, I want you to be a preacher of reasonablism.
Okay. All
right, Alex, parishioner Alex, you're going out there and teach the word. Now the word is, look around.
The bird.
I'm just going to look around and be like, black people aren't real. And they're like, and you'll be like, what the fuck did you just say?
I saw one on my way here.
Yeah, because it sounds fucking insane, don't it?
There's one outside.
Yeah.
He
not real. It's a psyop.
What?
Yeah. See how fucking disturbing that sounds? Mm-hmm. Now imagine if I said it was about fucking aliens. All right, and now get this. Here's how people like, I think Tom Cruise gets stuck into it. They've been in it for so long. They've attributed their success in life to it. They hear this, song and dance about Xenu the alien, and now it's like, subconsciously, it's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. But consciously, you're like,
you've already sunk so much time into it.
I'm in this deep. I can't get out. And this is why I don't think it's dumb people. This is why I don't think it's lesser people who get drawn into cults. Anybody is susceptible to propaganda, and this is just theirs. There was a book I read, and it kind of scared the shit out of me one time. It said, every person on earth, there is a set of words and statements that you could say to them that would destroy them. If I find that out, that is the most dangerous thing I could do to somebody. There's a certain set of words I could say out loud in a certain order to you, Alex, and you would have a mental breakdown.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a few.
Yeah, but you hear those words individually, it's nothing. It means nothing. It's kind of like if I hold a dictionary, it's like, everything I need to know is in this dictionary. Yes, technically, but if I have to put it together,
because it's all alphabetized and out of order.
Yeah. So I need someone to help me shape that knowledge, and that's why you have churches. And Church of Scientology is just that. They have a book that's damn near hard to understand, but if I pay Leafy Green spending money, they'll teach me how to understand it.
Leafy Green spending money.
But that's what it is. And the Church of Scientology, boiled down to that, is no different from the Christians, or like Methodists, Southern Baptists, Protestants, Catholics, Judaism, Islam. I have a complicated book that has understanding. You understand some of it. You will. You can understand some of it. But if you want to know more, you can go to this church and they'll tell you more. If you understand the context, like I said before, it's there. Scientology, however, is not like, give me 10%. They're like, give me all of it and your time.
Right now.
Right fucking now. And it's super fucking expensive. There is a conspiracy behind Scientology that the reason L. Ron Hubbard has the most selling books of all time is because they force people in Scientology to buy those books.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And thus dump those books and then donate those same books back to the church. And so you now have this revolving door of inventory that sells and sells and sells. It's kind of like how the government cheats you on taxes when you sell a car. So like, let's say I have a car, I buy it, I pay taxes. Next day I sell it to you. Guess what? You got to pay taxes on that car when you buy it. Next day you sell it to Rachel. Guess what? She has to pay taxes. Now if we pay taxes 3 different times on the same fucking vehicle and it hasn't done nothing.
Yep.
So like it's this revolving door of bullshit. And that's how Scientology really works. Going into the deep dive, like complicated history of it is just L. Ron Hubbard's fucking life and like his shit fuck life. It is. And going into some conspiracies on it to add to the Cryptid Conspiracy Cult of it. Have you ever heard of Operation Snow White?
I have not.
Operation Snow White is a very real tale of how Scientology inserted themselves in the United States government in certain roles in the federal government. And then someone in the FBI is like, hey, you ever notice we have a lot of Scientologists bebopping around? And this is before they got tax exempt status. This is before they were a church. And he had people become Scientologists and join the federal government at certain key levels and make their way up to influence the United States government. They got found out, and those members got taken out, not killed or anything. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't part of the FBI then. I would have killed them. I would have killed them. When you say I'm part of some psyop, you commie piece of shit.
I'm saying what you said. You said I wasn't part of the CIA then.
Yeah. It is what it is, Alex.
Well, if this is the way I find out, it's the way I find out.
Maybe if you keep that pro-commie shit out your goddamn mouth. Just saying, I'm trying to make the federal government great again.
God damn it.
Yep, a boot in every ass and a cap in every skull. You heard my Star Wars story.
I know.
They killed 2 guys and took their fucking uniforms. Savages. Barely even human. Pocahontas, great movie. But yeah, they got found out.
Yeah.
And they went after him. The government went after him. Like, what the fuck are you trying to do? And there is a level of like, what the fuck? Kind of like, holy shit, a cult tried to influence the United States government.
Right.
But not long after that, they received their tax-exempt status as a church because they were taking an influx of money. Now, whether a church is a church and it's tax-free and the government shouldn't be able to tax it, that's an argument unto itself. I cannot say here or there whether or not a church has to pay taxes. I think they should, if they're taking in large sums of money and not doing anything with it. I think you've become a bank. That's how I feel. And if you're going to hoard money, you're going to hoard all that money like a dragon, you need to be held accountable, because now you're affecting the economy. Because if what people don't realize is, and I've actually talked to a lot of people who don't understand how it works, the economy only works as long as you spend money. If you hoard money, you stop the flow of money and it becomes super fucking worthless.
The economy only exists if you believe in it.
Yeah. No. The economy exists.
I love that. Yeah. No.
No. Money is real. Okay? Money is very fucking real. Money. That's my God, in fact. My God is a green-faced asshole whose eyes never close, and I keep my one eye open while I sleep. Because if I keep my eyes off of it long enough, it'll disappear. The Church of Money is Chris Morrison's church. Okay?
Put $1 in my wallet.
Put $1 in the goddamn box. Buy a shirt. Buy stickers. I don't care.
Launch us.
Get out there, guys. Because that's my church. And my church is fucking real.
Hey.
My church does all kinds of good shit. It drops bombs on Afghanistan. It builds houses.
It pays my rent.
It kills so many people. But guess what? I can do with it as I please. What's different than my church that I just described different than any other? Except mine, you can see mine. I'm serious. Like, this is very, I joked about it a long time ago, but then I started to realize, no, the Church of Money is very real. The religion of money is the perfect religion, because it can come and go as it pleases. I can do what I want with my money, with my God.
So what do you, so to answer that, if you're saying like for serious, what would you define as a church then?
A building to worship. And the great thing about the God of money is how I worship it. I go to work.
So the one thing I guess I have in my head that I'm trying to like verbalize is, throughout these different religions, even Scientology, there is a larger deity greater than us and greater than any material possession.
A lot of times, yeah.
That we are worshiping, whether it be a Buddha, a Jesus, a Xenu, whatever. It is a larger, higher power than us. Money serves us.
Yeah.
We are the owners of the money. The money, if anything, we are the gods to the money. The money is to serve us and to serve our greater good, as we, as someone that follow a religion, our lives are to serve the greater purpose that is our God. So I don't know. I feel like the Church of Money might be a little, to pull the argument, not for the lulz and shit, that one might be tough only because the roles are a bit reversed.
So here's what I have to say to that. fucking heretic, blasphemous.
Fuck you, pay me.
Fuck you, pay me. Blasphemous little asshole. Pay the fine.
Damn it.
Pay the toll, or you're going to get rolled.
I'll give you
So,
another
like-
sticker before we leave.
But when it comes to like the definition of a church, the government has lines laid out for that for the purpose of tax exempt status. The First Amendment gives you the right to worship whatever the fuck you want to worship. Okay, that's the fact. The First Amendment is the best amendment because that's the first one. All right. Do you know what the First Amendment says? Freedom of speech, the freedom of press, the freedom of religion, the freedom to gather. That's it. Those are the most...
First Amendment, best amendment.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. The Second Amendment's fun. All right.
Don't get me wrong.
The Fifth Amendment can protect your ass in court. The other ones are a little bit spotty.
I plead the fifth.
But they're very important. But none of them are as important as the first one, because they knew when they wrote the motherfucker that we are not a church. We are not the United States of Christianity. We are not the United States of the former British colonies. We are the United States of America, you know. And when the government tells you, hey, we need you to define your church so we can give you tax exempt status, there are certain guidelines you have to go by. One of them is a place of worship. Scientology's got it.
Yep.
One is membership. They fucking got it.
Spades.
And one is basically a thesis statement.
They got that.
And they have a charter. And every church has a charter. You'll actually see it most of the time in Baptist churches. You'll see it near the front of the church, near the altars or the dais. Other ones are usually in the fellowship halls and stuff like that. I know I'm describing like a lot of Protestant churches, but they're all the same. Catholic churches have a broader one. It's usually engraved in the church.
Because they hardcore like that.
Yeah. Well, did you know this, that most Catholic churches have to have a bone of a saint to become a church inside of it somewhere?
I did not know that.
It's fucking gross.
That is a little gross.
Yeah, like this is the figure of St. Peter. We got his pinky.
Damn it. The other place
We're not as good as the one with a thumb. Yeah. God damn, we're not as cool as those.
I love how we were both thinking thumb.
It's the most important finger.
It is. You lose your thumb, can't do shit.
Yeah. Then you're what, basically an ape.
Yeah.
Can't do this. You're fake. You're fucking an ape. But with Scientology, we'll go over another episode, but like a part 2 of this, where it's like the history of Scientology. But they are losing members in droves, mainly because of shit like you were describing earlier. But some guy yelling, "That's Scientology! Get the fuck away from there!"
Bad.
Yeah, it's
wax him in the nose with a newspaper.
I'm just picturing like that old guy at the gas station telling the group of teenagers in the van, "Don't go down that road."
It's basically what it is.
They're fucking cannibal skull rapers down there, and it's just like, well, I guess we got to go down cannibal skull raping road. It's the shortest way. Fucking fascinating. But with Scientology, what I think is kind of the biggest grift of all is them saying they can help you.
Yep.
Because if they truly could, if it was proven that they could, another version of Scientology would be out there doing it without all the fucking money and pomp and circumstance. And there are people that do it. There are little churches of Scientology that are separate from David Miscavige and Hubbard that still preach the original Dianetics that teach you how to understand it. And those are probably remnants of the old adult group that left. Actually, a great movie that's it's loosely based on Scientology is an older movie called The Master, and it's what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix is in it. Amy Adams. And Philip Seymour Hoffman is the guy, and he's trying to help Joaquin Phoenix's character, and it's just not working because he's not believing in it, and also it's bullshit. So it's this like argument of the wheels that's happening, and it's a very fascinating movie because there's a scene where a guy's like, "This sounds like bullshit," in the crowd. He's like, "What you're describing is bullshit," and he's just like, "Sir, you do not know," and like. It's how L. Ron Hubbard talked. It's how cult leaders talk. It's like, I joked about like Jim Jones a lot of times. It's like if I was back then, and one of the things Jim Jones would do was he would pit people against each other on the stage. He's like, "Alex, how dare he buy a new car?" And I would make you fight people in the church till you couldn't fight no more. And in my mind, I'm just like, why am I not beating the dog shit out of this meth addict in front of all these people and screaming, if it's not true, God would stop me, and just like kicking him in the ribs. But you know what I'm saying? Like, in my mind, that's how I would handle it. But all these people are so knee deep in it that they are not going to do something like that. And that's another thing about a cult, or even a church, really.
Well, the one thing they're really fearing right now, and what the auditors are basically trying to do, is they know they can't prevent every single person from getting recruited. That's a fruitless effort. However, since they have been losing so many members, the main goal right now of this group is to remove their tax-exempt status.
Yes. So
if they can remove their tax-exempt status, all of a sudden, they do start caring about all the people leaving and everything else.
So the thing about this is this would be a monumental case, because for people who don't realize, there's a couple like court cases that are up and coming that could make it to the Supreme Court and can really change the political landscape for the future. One is this case. Like if a case was to be brought up that the United States versus the Church of Scientology, and if they were to change it from, oh wait, Scientology is not a church, but in fact a organization that grifts money, and not even grift, like just say it's a corporation that takes money and proclaims that Dianetics is a scientific endeavor for, you know, helping people, then yeah, it needs to be taxed, because now it's a fucking health company. It's no longer a church. Okay. And the government would have to acknowledge that on a broader spectrum on other people and other rules for churches. So if I'm a Mormon and I'm running a church, I'd be kind of fucking scared right now, because if the Church of Scientology decides to go against the United States government on this, then they're next, because they hoard fucking money. And anything that goes against a religious, I'm going to use this word literally, religious station, is a threat to all of them. That's a fact, you know.
But it does seem like the Scientology base, though, kind of gets the cold shoulder from basically every other organized religion, though.
Yeah, because they're not a fucking religion.
But that's what I was saying. So I think
even the other ones acknowledge that it's not a religion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is what's called the conference of, it's like a conference of churches. It's where a lot of different religious teachers come together and kind of discuss, you know, have a not a debate, but a discussion,
a meeting of the minds.
Yeah. Kind of like the Bilderberg Group, or, you know, that one place where all the politicians go to fuck each other with a giant owl statue. That one. But yeah, they had this like big conference every now and then, and other religions show up there, and they discuss what their religion is about. And it's not so much an in group as it is a chance to talk about change and growth. And this is how Western religions are made.
Yeah,
this is how we've, you know, Western Islam and Eastern Islam are two different things. One is more hardcore and strict. One is Americanized.
Yeah.
Scientology is an American religion, but the most American religion is Mormonism. That's a fact. There's no religion more American than Mormonism.
Dum 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 dum.
Crackers as long as the eye can see. But with Scientology kind of going downhill, I wouldn't be surprised within the next 10 years they'd probably shutter the doors. Or, and this is a big if something was to happen to David Miscavige, the leader of Scientology, and Tom Cruise was to become the leader of Scientology, that would probably, in the long run, change a lot of things. Whether or not it's for the good, I couldn't say. I would hope it's for the better. I would hope he would open the coffers and let people see, like, this is how much we've made. This is what we do with the money.
He just brings it back to the Old Testament, baby.
Yeah, it brings it back to the L. Ron Hubbard days. You know, like free wheeling and dealing, fucking getting the fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets fucking ape shit. Kills Nicole Kidman right there. Just fucking Jesus.
2026 is shaping up to be a good year.
I'm just trying to make it through this one. We're only like 20 some days in this one. But yeah, man, Church of Scientology, we'll do a whole episode about the history of it because that's more elaborate than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Because L. Ron Hubbard's life story is fucking fascinating. So is David Miscavige. His dad wrote a slanderous book about him. And I'm just like, God, his dad's a fucking prick. I know David Miscavige is an asshole, but damn, his dad.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
Yeah, he's basically, the whole book, he basically writes like, oh, I had other kids that did good. And it's just like, this one, out of the 5 kids I had, I only had one evil one, and it's just like, don't do that.
I mean, honestly though, he's kind of distancing himself. So
he is, but he's also he's the one that put his fucking kid in Scientology.
That's true.
Yeah, but like it's like that parrot is just like, well, only one was a serial killer. And it's just like, God damn it, man. It's like Jeffrey Dahmer's dad was like, well, only had the one kid who killed and ate people. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
It still counts.
Just shut the fuck up. But I would go to with Scientology. What's cool is what's cool about it is they try to have science and pseudoscience quotations as part of the way of diagnosing your issues. So one of the things we talked about it briefly was the e-meter. Mm-hmm. You hold on to these little things and this dial moves up and down. No one really knows how it works. You can actually buy one on Amazon. They're not a proprietary thing because they couldn't own it.
Yep, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, but this is the same device invented by the guy who thought he could talk to flowers. So I'm gonna let it go. Yeah, but he said plants feel pain and shit. I'm like, they probably fucking do. If they did, I'd eat more plants. This tomato screamed while I ate it. Sausage party. Ew. But yeah, we'll come into a part 2. I'm gonna let it go right here. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up about Scientology?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, good. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I don't want to get sued or killed.
Well, Alex, thanks for having me back in the studio. We'll be drinking again soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're still feeling that a little bit in the back of my
I was hiccuping and it just burned me.
Yeah, that's that liquor we drink. Yeah. If you want to see us drink that'll be on YouTube eventually, along with some other ones probably. Thanks for joining me on the show with your equipment and your place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Check out all the other great shows. Like I said before, This Fucking Guy, Something Good For You, History We Forgot, this show, of course, and maybe some other ones down the road.
You got it.
All right, guys, take it easy and watch out for the aliens, man.
You've been listening to the Something Good Network. If you liked what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram and check out the other great shows on the network. Link is in the episode description.